just to establish who all is here, kind of as an attendance mechanism. Second, I just want to talk a little bit about what an excused absence is. An excused absence is not, I'm going to be a few minutes late. An excused absence is, I'm lying in a hospital room, I'm testifying in another committee, the speaker called me into her office to chastise me. I'm in a work situation, and we have a imminent leak explosion. So those are legitimate excuses. Just being a few minutes late, that's not a legitimate excuse. The other thing I want to announce to the members of the committee is that Trish sent you all the voting list yesterday. It's something that we have to publish 2 days in advance, unfortunately. So please don't be bugging Trish 15 minutes before the before the voting session, because she's running around doing a whole bunch of stuff. It's in your email someplace. Please, pay attention to that sort of thing here out, because it gets very stressful. Anything else I should be announcing, Trish, or did I capture everything there?
No, and you're live, so you're ready to go.
Okay, great. Welcome back to the second voting list for Friday, February 5th, 2021 of the Environment and Transportation Committee. And we don't have that long a voting list, so it shouldn't take so long to get through it. But in any case, we're going to begin with House Bill 19, Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 19 is a bill that clarifies recent enactment requirements related to written agreements entered into when an escrow agent agrees to hold trust money for certain residential real estate transactions. And as we recall, Mr. Chair, we have specific laws for real estate agents and for title companies in terms of holding down payment money and escrows, but there is some non-clarity in terms of what happens when an escrow agent holds the funds, and this bill clarifies it to put it in alignment with the title companies and real estate brokers.
Is there a second?
Second.
And there's no amendment?
No amendments, Mr. Chair. I do see a question from Sarah Love.
Yep.
Delegate Love.
Delegate Love.
Thank you. I'm just curious as to whether this applies to ground rents.
Well, ground rents were established in the summer of 1632. King Charles I, and therefore that bill does not have any relevance to this bill.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I was very worried about that. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, I think we're ready to vote. Trish, roll call.
Vice Chair Stein,
Yes.
Holmes,
Aye.
Learman,
I would ask
Hold on.
for everybody to say yes instead of aye, because it's easier for Trish to hear it.
Learman was in the waiting room. Do you want me to wait a second? She's in.
Yeah, let her in. Let's let her in. Yeah, she's connecting. Brooke, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry about that. Our power just went out. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
Okay, sorry.
I got that bill.
Yes, I vote yes.
Okay.
Fraser Hidalgo,
Yes.
Otto,
Yes.
Jacobs,
Yes.
Wyval,
One of the few Delegate Holmes bills I can vote yes.
Ampray,
Yes.
Siliberti,
Absolutely. Yes.
Wells. She was late. Love,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes, and Mr. Chairman, I thought you were going to ask Delegate Learman if there was an explosion in her workplace.
You're right, I should have.
Harrison. Yes. Teresa.
Absent.
She was here. I saw her.
She is there. She just said she has a bad connection. I can see her.
So what do we do for the vote?
This is thumbs up or thumbs
She
down.
just said yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Boyce,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
DeLacy. Absent. Anderton,
Yes.
Gilchrist,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Chairman.
Chairman votes yes, and also I'm giving a thumbs up. So if your sound cuts off, a thumbs up probably would be a good thing. So yes.
Got it.
That's House Bill 19. It's passed.
Landslide.
What?
It was a landslide.
Yes, it was. House Bill 77, Delegate Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The recommendation of the committee is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill prohibits a person beginning October 1, 2022 from supplying, selling, offering for sale, or manufacturing a high PAH driveway sealer for use in the state, applying or soliciting the application of a high PAH driveway sealer to pavement in the state, or supplying, selling, offering for sale, or manufacturing a driveway sealer for use in the state unless the sealer complies with specified labeling requirements. The amendments in number 1 makes technical changes to the title. Number 2 updates provisions under the Maryland Clean Water Fund to receive any fees or funds that the department collects under the bill or any penalties imposed under the bill. Amendment number 3 alters the scope of the bill as discussed. Move the amendments.
Is there a second for the amendments?
Second.
Okay, on the amendment, excuse me, on the amendments, any questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote on the amendments. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill as amended or debate? Okay.
Chairman.
If I may, Mr.
Delegates-
Chairman.
Delegate Siliberti, then Delegate Otto.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This sealer bill, it's interesting, but there seems to be a demand for this out there in the vast public arena.
Delegate, you mean demand for the limitations on these
Yeah,
high PAH sealers? Yes, I mean, I would characterize it as yes, and certainly we heard testimony from a number of advocates that,
Sure.
yes, and I believe these types of sealers have been banned. Let's see, Montgomery County and Delegate Stewart, where else?
Prince George's County, Howard County, and Anne Arundel County have banned it. So about half of Maryland's population already live in jurisdictions that have banned it. And Home Depot and Ace Hardware and Lowe's and a bunch of other retailers no longer carry these anymore.
thank you.
Any Delegate Otto?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I support these amendments, and I think the sponsor did a fine job of trying to work with industry and all, and clarify to me, then the amendments or the bill itself exclude sealers for water treatment plants and things like that, that's very important, like tanks they have and things.
Let me say what the bill does cover. It covers sealers that are used to apply to worn asphalt driveway and parking lot surfaces to fill cracks, seal the surface to provide protection, or restore or preserve appearance. So if it's outside of repairing asphalt driveway or parking lots, then there is no prohibition on its use.
Well, those things are very important that we had the best available product, in my opinion, is going to last. So I certainly supported the amendments and appreciate the sponsor's efforts, but I'm still going to vote against the bill.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote, and I want to do another roll call.
Okay, Vice Chair Stein,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Learman,
Yes.
Frazier
Yes.
Hidalgo,
Yes.
Otto,
No.
Jacobs,
No.
Wyval,
No.
Amprey,
Yes.
Silverty,
Yes.
Wells,
Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Ruth,
That was a yes. She did a thumbs up.
Yes. Yes.
Short,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Tarassa,
Yes.
She said yes.
Yes.
Parrot,
You say parrot? No.
Parrot,
No.
Parrot is no. Boyce,
Yes.
Clark,
No.
Delisi, still
Absent.
absent. Anderton,
No.
that was a no.
That was a no.
Yes, that was a no.
Gilchrist,
Yes.
Healy,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairman votes yes.
Okay,
In spite of the fact that the sponsor is wearing his used car salesman jacket.
I was trying to get Anderton's vote.
It was
Okay.
close, brother. It was close. A Paisley tie, you'd have had it.
Okay, House Bill 94, Delegate Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill expands the authorized uses of the guarantee authority under the Maryland Water Quality Revolving Loan Fund by repealing the restriction that the fund be used only to guarantee or purchase insurance for bonds, notes, or other evidences of obligation issued by a local government for the purpose of financing all or a portion of the cost of a wastewater facility, if such action would improve credit market access or reduce interest rates. Amendment number 1 makes technical changes to the purpose and function paragraphs. Number 2 alters the use of the fund to allow for additional financial guarantee consistent with federal law. Move the amendments.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the bill? Anyone? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. And this time, let me just ask, has anybody joined us since the last vote? Okay, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? So I guess we have as, call out the people who you think are absent, Trish. Jalisi and who else?
Delisi is the only one I have.
Okay, all right. House Bill 110, Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 110, as amended, establishes standards related to installation of electrical vehicle recharging equipment in condominiums and homeowners associations. There are 2 amendments, Mr. Chair. Amendment number 1 is technical, and amendment number 2 strikes the grant program from the Maryland Energy Administration. And the reason why that grant program was stricken in amendment number 2, Mr. Chair, was it was found to be duplicative. I move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Do we have a second for the amendments?
Second.
Any discussion on the amendments or questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote on the amendments. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have
Move
it.
the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion on the bill as amended or discussion or debate? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Who's opposed? Parrot?
Delegate Parrot.
Delegate Parrot. Okay, any abstentions? And Delegate Jalisi, are you out there? Okay, so he's absent. House Bill 127, Delegate Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The recommendation is favorable, no amendments. This jointly assigned bill is in the same posture as House Bill 890 from last year, which we passed. This bill requires a producer of architectural paint sold at retail to submit a plan for the establishment of a paint stewardship program to MDE for approval, pay a plan review fee to MDE, implement the program within 6 months, submit annual reports for MDE review, and pay annual report review fees to MDE. Move the bill.
No amendments?
No amendments.
Is there a second? Okay, debate or discussion on the bill?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Otto, then Delegate Jacobs. in that order.
This is a paint tax. I think there's other means to do it, and it's adding a fee to each gallon of paint or pint of paint or quart of paint. And I just want to be sure people realize that. I think it can be done otherwise. And,
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Delegate Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I stated in the hearing, my district borders tax-free Delaware, all 4 of my counties. And this will,
Hey, the Delegate Jacobs has the floor. Mute.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyhow, my 4 counties border Delaware. And, this is just going to be an additional tax on paint that's going to send my constituents and residents in that area across the border. Another reason to go across the border, besides the 6% tax, is about roughly a 3% tax, additional tax on the paint. And, I just think that it's going to be a problem for my district. And additionally, in the commercial paint world, if this just applied only to residential use, I probably wouldn't be so opposed. But in the commercial business, there's very little paint that's not moved on to another job. There's very little retention in the commercial end, and it's an enormous amount of paint there. So I think it's going to be hard on the commercial side, and they're going to look for any kind of savings they can, and that may mean going across the border. So for that reason, I'm going to oppose the bill.
Does anyone else want to discuss this bill before we proceed to a roll call vote? Okay, roll call.
Vice Chair Stein,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Learman,
Yes. Yes.
Fraser Hidalgo,
Yes.
Otto,
No.
Jacobs,
No,
Wyval,
No.
Ampray,
Yes.
Siliberti,
I want to keep people in Delegate Jacobs' area, so I vote no.
Wells,
I vote yes.
Love,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Tarassa,
Yes.
Parrot,
No.
Boyce,
Yes.
Clark,
No.
Jalisi, still up, Anderton,
No.
Gilchrist,
Yes.
Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Chairman votes yes. The bill carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Do you want the vote count?
please,
It's
Trish?
16-7.
Okay,
seen that movie.
really. House Bill 146, Delegate Gilchrist.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 146 came in as a bill to extend the spay and neuter fund program till 2032 and included fee increases in the program. The subcommittee adopted amendments to remove the fee increases, and the subcommittee amended the bill to require the Department of Agriculture to report back to the committee by October to identify programs that aren't funded, to consider capacity to increase the fees, and a recommendation for the fee structure over the next 10 years. move the amendments, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second on the amendments?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill is before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any debate on the bill as amended? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I have a question. This is Delegate Parrott.
Well, we're voting.
Yes. Which bill are you voting on?
Oh, we're voting on 146.
146.
Okay, I'm a no. Thank you.
Okay. Any
I'm gonna vote
abstentions?
no as well.
Who's no? Also Wyval? Okay, Wyval is a no. Any other no's or abstentions? Is Delegate Jalisi in the House? Okay, the bill passes. House Bill 178, Delegate Frederick Dalgo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 178 was voted out of subcommittee favorable with amendments. The bill as amended, 178 alters the penalties, points, assessments for violations related to the participation of a speed or race contest, striking alterations of certain penalties for violations related to reckless and negligent driving, registration plates, and noise abatement. Move the amendments.
Second amendments.
Right. Any discussion on the amendments? Is there any, I have a question. Delegate Frederick Dalgo, is there a provision for mandatory appearance in courts?
It's not, we pulled it out of the bill.
Okay. But wait a minute. I didn't.
It's in the
see that
amendments.
Is that in the amendments?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it should be pulled out of the bill. That's what we discussed. It's
It's,
heavily amended.
It's what?
But on the,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the last piece that Trish sent out that had the strikes on it on
page 3.
page
line 21.
3, line 21, where it is struck that they must appear in court.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on page 4 as well.
Delegate Jacobs has a question on the amendments.
Well, I just want some clarification, and especially for the rest of the committee. In the title, there's still noise abatement, but that was taken out of the bill. And the only ones that are, I guess, susceptible to the fines are the timekeeper, the flagger, and the nut behind the wheel.
That's correct. Just those 3. The
So
racer, the timekeeper, and the flagger.
So spectators are allowed to watch without fine.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll vote on the
I
amendment.
have a question.
Oh, go for it, Delegate Wyval.
Thank you. Is Abate still opposed to the bill as amended, or do we know?
I don't know if Abate is opposed or not. Go ahead. Well, I'm sorry. I think Delegate Vaughn,
thanks.
Delegate Vaughn may, Mr. Chairman, may have some.
Yeah, Delegate Stewart.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question, Delegate Wyval. Abate was only opposed to the muffler noise abatement part of the bill. They support the rest of the bill. So as amended, they're cool.
So Abate is abated their concerns.
Very good.
Okay, we're going to vote on the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us is amended. Is there a second
Second.
on the bill as amended? Any discussion? Okay, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Delegate Jalisi, are you in the House?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Here we go. Are you for or against the bill?
For.
In favor. Jalisi is for. Okay. Bill carries. House Bill 208, Delegate Gilchrist.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 208 establishes that a neonicotinoid pesticide may only be sold to a certified applicator or a farmer and neonics should be inaccessible to a customer without assistance from the seller. What the subcommittee discussed this bill, adopted an amendment to remove the language that neonics must be stored behind the counter. Move the amendment.
Second.
Okay, these are the amendment, that language is an amendment that the retailers wanted, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. On the amendment, we'll vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. The bill's before us is amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delegate Wyval has his hand up.
That was from the last bill, sorry.
Okay. Anyone else want to debate or discuss the bill before we vote? Okay. On to vote.
If I may,
Delegate Otto?
I think the amendments, the changes here are fine and what the intent of the original legislation were and agreed to, but I still don't believe we should be regulating this product myself, but so I'll vote no on the bill.
Okay. Anyone else want to discuss the bill before we proceed to a vote? If not, all those in favor of House Bill 208 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No. No.
Oh, so I believe it's Parrott, Otto, Siliberti, and Wyval. Anyone else want to vote no? And Trish, do you have that?
Voting no is Otto, Wyval, Siliberti, and Parrott.
Yeah. Any abstentions? The bill carries. Okay, House Bill 267, Delegate Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill, the recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill is in the same posture as House Bill 836 from last year, which was passed. It requires MDE to monitor effluent discharge sewage treatment plants and evaluate whether the effluent and any nutrients in the effluent impacts midge populations in the surrounding land and water areas, including whether the effluent contributes to the growth of phytoplankton. The amendments, number one, makes technical changes to the purpose paragraph. Number two, changes the semi-annual reporting requirement to an annual reporting requirement. Move the amendments.
Is there a second for the amendments?
Second.
Okay, Delegate Ruth, did you have a question? You need to unmute. You need to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, I was trying to second, but I was muted.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Delegate Otto.
Some of the verbiage didn't make sense to me in the amendment that I had. It was taken out, like the submit, as well as some other things, and it just didn't sound right. I mean,
Well, Delegate, the amendment makes the bill identical to what we passed last year, which requires only an annual reporting requirement. As introduced this year, the bill had a semi-annual reporting requirement, but we changed it back to annual in the amendment.
the amendment that I'm looking at takes out the submit. And I would say it should still say submit a annual. Just take out the semi-annual.
Hold on.
The language would just say it requires the department to report. It doesn't say submit an annual report, it just says to report to the department. That's the purpose paragraph. So they would have to report to the department on or before a certain date each year.
If you're good with the wording.
Well, okay, good. Any further discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
No,
Aye.
seem to have the ayes have it. Sorry, I forgot my own routine. Okay, the bill's before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. On the bill, any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
The bill's before us as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. On the bill, any discussion on the bill as amended? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The bill carries unanimous among those present. House Bill 314, Delegate Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This jointly assigned bill is in the same posture as House Bill 209 as passed by the House. This bill prohibits, beginning July 1, 2022, a retail establishment from providing a plastic carryout bag. Move the bill.
Okay, any discussion on the bill or debate?
Yes.
Who said yes first? I think Neil. Delegate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just really think this bill is unnecessary and actually hurtful to families like mine, but other people who have, 5 people in their family, they're cooking all the time. You go to the grocery store, you leave with like 20 bags worth of things, and then you recycle them at the end of the day. I mean, it's very practical what we have right now. And in addition, different counties in the city of Baltimore, they can choose what they want to do. I think this really needs to be left to the counties, to their own preference, and not have the state impose this on the rest of the state. Earlier there was debate. It talked about how much these bags cost. You should charge per the bag. Well, it costs less than 2 cents for each of these bags. So the cost is completely nominal. I wouldn't mind if you said you had to charge the 2 cents for the bags, but to ban them, that's just not very practical for large families. Thank you.
Okay, I have Delegate Harrison and Anderton in that order.
Thank you. Did we talk about the amendment that was in our package?
No,
Does
I
this
mean,
put it in the posture that it was last year by putting this amendment in?
no, it does not. That amendment wasn't considered by the subcommittee. A different version was considered by the subcommittee and rejected, but the version that Delegate Clark has proposed at this point wasn't considered and has not been considered by the subcommittee, and it would not put it into the same posture as last year.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I've got Delegate Anderton and then Delegate Clark in that order.
Okay.
We can switch if you want. It's fine.
Delegate Clark.
Mr. Chairman, I did submit a new amendment this morning. I was only able to get it out of the amendment office early this morning. That would put farmers that sell their produce and their foods at farmers markets and produce stands on the side of the road on parity with the farmers that sell from their orchards and their farms their self. I had some conversation this morning with the bill sponsor, Delegate Lehrman, and about the amendment. She would like to try to narrow it some more because it says edible food products, and has said that she would work with me and one of the delegates in ECM to try to fix the amendment. Having said that, I appreciate that she would do that and that moving forward. But what I'm going to do, if the bill moves forward in its current state, I'm going to have to vote against it and then reevaluate as to whether I would vote for it if it ends up on the House floor. So,
okay.
Thank you.
Fair enough. So the order is going to be Anderton and Delegate Ruth in that order.
Could I respond?
And then Brooke Lehrman at the end.
No, go ahead and respond now. Madam Comptroller.
Okay, Brooke, go ahead.
Sure. I just want to thank Delegate Clark for the conversation this morning. I understand. So the bill as it stands right now that we'll be voting on is what we all last year out of this committee and out of the House. So just to clear up any confusion. Delegate Clark has a couple folks who I think this, I understand. He wants to make sure that if you're picking produce at a farm stand and you're able to give that away in a plastic bag, or if you're picking produce at a farm, able to give that away in a plastic bag, that if you're then selling that same down the road, that you're also able to use a plastic bag. And I am amenable to working with him on that. But because this bill has to go through 2 committees, and we're trying to move quickly. My suggestion to him was let's narrow the amendment that he submitted this morning, which covers all food at any farmer's market. So like a jar of honey, meat, ice cream, like anything, narrow it to so that it matches what is already the exception at farms, and put that amendment in and offer it in ECM, working with Delegate Crosby, who also represents Southern Maryland and is aware of this issue.
Okay. So I'm Delegate Ruth. Delegate Love had her hand up, but let's take Delegate Ruth right now and then Anderton, I guess, in that, or
Whatever, I'm cool.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to, didn't we discuss this amendment in subcommittee and we felt that it was opening things up too much, or am I confusing that with something else?
Delegate, the amendment we considered in subcommittee was broader than what
Okay.
today.
Thank you.
Delegate Anderton.
Sure. So real quick, this bill, I know that, earlier I heard someone mention they recycle their grocery bags, and I can tell you that the bags that are given out now are smaller, thinner than 4 millimeter. They're not recyclable. They actually gum up the recycling equipment. I learned that from our recycling director during last session, and they in fact end up in the landfill. And in Wycomico County, we just got in an expansion of our landfill, a couple more cells before this administration leaves, because we anticipate when the next administration comes in, they're going to lock that back down so you can't expand your landfills. And so we have about a 30 to 50 year window to bury our trash as long as we're, not filling it with stuff that doesn't need to be there. So, moving away from those types of bags saves us and gives us room in the future to use our landfill and not gum up recycling equipment. The plastic bag tumbleweeds go away. And plus, Delaware beat us to the punch and made a change, removing those smaller bags, going plastic bag free, so to speak. But they came back with a thicker bag, thicker than 4 millimeters, that they now give out in the grocery stores because there's no fee. And so people who like to use those shoulder bags as like trash bags in your bathroom or litter box or what have you, you're really going to need the thicker bags when they come out. So, this is not necessarily just a move away from plastic to paper or carry out or your own bags. You may very well see these stores come back with a thicker actual bag that you can recycle instead of just throwing into the landfill. So that's why, with no fee with this bill, like it was last year, seeing it in practice in the state of Delaware, which is about a mile from my house, I think that in the long run, this proved to be a vote on the good side of history. So.
Okay, Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just want to congratulate Delegate Lehrman for her continued work on this. I don't love that we're going to leave it up to locals to deal with the fee on paper. I think that's going to be a challenge. However, as I told her, we cannot let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And I think this is overall a good bill. And as I said before, I look forward to the shopping bags in Maryland. So thank you, Delegate Lehrman.
Okay, I think Delegate Parrott wants a second bite at the apple, and somebody mute yourself because I'm hearing noise from someplace.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to the point on recycling, it's correct. You can't put that in your recycling bin and set it out on the curb, but you can take it to the grocery store and they do recycle it. It's on the internet. And of course, my local grocery store, they have a place where you can put it and they're able to recycle that just fine. So
no.
You can't put it in the recycling bin, but you can take it to the store, get it done.
Not recycled there, just FYI. They don't recycle it.
What do you think they do with it?
They truck it out to the Midwest and they burn it down. There's no facilities in Maryland that can handle that.
Okay, but it is used for energy to waste in the Midwest. That's fine. Thanks.
So just burn it.
truck it halfway across the country.
Well, the city of Frederick wanted a big incinerator. Baltimore has one. And these work, energy to waste, so it's not impractical.
Kumar, you're on mute.
Sorry, roll call.
Vice Chair Stein,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Learman,
Yes.
Fraser Hidalgo,
Yes.
Otto,
No.
Jacobs,
No.
Wyville,
No.
Ampray,
Yes.
Siliberti.
Was that a no? Was that a no? You're I think he's muted, so it was a no.
Wells,
Sorry.
yes. Love,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Lehman.
Yes.
I couldn't hear that.
That was a yes.
Harrison. I'm going to vote yes, but I'm going to say that I really want to see at least part of this amendment worked out. I do believe that the farm stands should be able to do as the farm markets do. So that's, I'm a yes, but to me, that's very important.
Okay.
Siliberti.
No.
No. Truss.
Sorry.
Yes.
That's a yes.
Parrot.
No.
Boyce.
Yes.
Clark.
I'm a no, and thank you, Delegate Harrison, for your comments. My mindset could change.
Jalisi.
Doesn't happen often.
Yes.
Anderton.
Yes.
Gilchrist.
Yes.
Healy.
Yes.
Chairman.
Chairman votes yes. The bill carries. Okay. 322, Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill received a favorable report from the subcommittee, favorable with one amendment, and the amendment was offered by our own in-house Dr. No, Delegate Parrott. That amendment was in fact approved by the subcommittee, and that amendment, the bill as amended, prohibits restrictions on use of imposing unreasonable limitations on low impact landscaping. And the amendment imposed and approved by our own in-house Dr. No adds conditions to the property owner to maintain regularly tend the low impact landscaping. Move the amendment, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the amendments? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes seem to have.
Move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the bill as amended? Delegate Wyville. Wyville?
Sorry, that raise hand button popped up again. I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions on the bill before we vote? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Any abstentions? I believe that means it's unanimous. House Bill 367, Delegate Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 367 establishes a state board on common ownership community managers to regulate the provisions of common ownership communities, property managers services in Maryland. The Management Services Board will be appointed by the governor, and the board operates under the authority of the Secretary of Labor. And the board is subject to reestablishment and periodic evaluation under the Maryland Program Evaluation Act. That Maryland Program Evaluation Act, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, is the same type of program that licenses and evaluates other licenses throughout the state, much like my real estate license or insurance licenses or professional engineers licenses, architects licenses, etc. Which is why the board was put under the Secretary of Labor in this bill. This bill is a reintroduction of the bill that passed the House in 2020. I might also add, Mr. Chair, that this bill has been discussed in this subcommittee in 2013, 2014, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021, Mr. Chair. And since those introduction years, there have been multiple cases of lawsuits filed by the Attorney General's office where property managers in the state of Maryland have absconded with monies in going north of $2 million per property manager. In several cases by the Attorney General's office. They've been putting those cases in. Currently, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, all of you have heard me say this for multiple years, and I will continue to say the same thing over and over again. To be a property manager in the state of Maryland, you need one thing currently. All you need is to go to Staples and get a business card that says you're a property manager. That is the total requirement in the state of Maryland at this time, Mr. Chair. And I think it is time for us to protect our citizens in the state of Maryland to have a licensing structure for community managers. I move the bill, Mr. Chair, and there are no amendments.
Okay, I have a question. Delegate Holmes, were you asleep in 2015 and 16? What was going on then?
Yes, I was asleep, Mr. Chair.
Okay, now that we've established that. Okay, any further discussion on the bill? Seeing none, we'll proceed to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Yes.
Aye. Okay, any opposed?
No.
Delegate Parrott isn't, you're just saying that because of what he said a few minutes ago. Okay, Delegate Parrott is opposed. Any abstentions?
Wyvil's opposed. I'd like to see the bill again next year to keep the streak going.
I don't think you're going to have to vote no for that to happen. Any case, okay, the bill carries.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
On a personal note, I really want to thank the committee for their indulgence with me on this bill. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, very good then. Last bill of the day, and then we'll go to announcements. 492, Delegate Stein. No, excuse me, Delegate Frazier Dalgo.
Well, you're partially right, Mr. Chair. It is Delegate Stein's bill. Mr. Chair, thank you. House Bill 492 was voted out of subcommittee favorably with no amendments, and it is in the exact same posture as it was in the previous iterations of the bill.
Okay, this is two-man crew, just so that everybody is aware. Is there a second?
Second.
Debate, question, or discussions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Delegate Otto.
Can you call this the anti-technology bill of 20?
You
gotta have technology in order to call it that.
Ouch. Any other discussion before we go to a roll call vote? Okay, very good then. Trish, roll call.
Vice Chair Stein,
Yes.
Holmes,
Yes.
Learman,
Yes.
Frazier Hidalgo,
Yes.
Otto,
No.
Jacobs,
No, for the fourth time.
Wyval,
No.
Ampray,
Yes.
Silverty,
No.
Wells,
Yes.
Love,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Harrison. Yes. Tarassa,
Yes.
It's a yes. That's a yes.
Parrot.
I think he's muted, but is it a no or a yes? What is it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's a no. With autonomous cars, autonomous trucks, it's going the wrong direction.
Okay.
Boyce.
Yes.
Clark.
Clark?
No, sorry.
Sorry.
Jalisi.
Yes.
Anderton.
No.
Gilchrist.
Yes.
Healy.
Yes.
Chairman.
Chairman votes yes. The bill passes
17-7.
17-7. Okay. Announcements from subcommittee chairs. Any announcements?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
I just,
Holmes and then Learman in that order.
Mr. Chair, I just want to let the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee know that you will be receiving an email sometime today relevant to our bill discussions on Wednesday. Please look at the bill so we can go through them as rapidly as possible on Wednesday. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Delegate Learman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Land Use and Ethics Subcommittee will be meeting on Tuesday, and we will send out a list of bills that we'll be reviewing hopefully this weekend so that you have time to see everything that we're going through. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other subcommittee chairs before I recognize other members of the committee? Okay. Wyville and Lehman in that order. Do you have your hand up again by mistake?
Yeah, somebody tell me how that keeps happening.
I don't know. It must be the
Push the button.
right?
I haven't touched it.
Okay. Lehman.
Let gravity take over.
Delegate Lehman.
It already has in your case, Siliberti.
Oh.
Okay, buddy. I just one up.
Tough crowd.
All right. Maybe we can hear Delegate Lehman now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That was harsh. That was really harsh. I just wanted to call everyone's attention to the fact that I sent an email late last night, early this morning, answering several questions on my CoSmart bill, HB 512, that was heard on Wednesday. So please take a look at that and let me know. Do not reply all, but please let me know if you need any further information or clarification on any of the questions. I'm hoping to have those issues cleared up ahead of what I hope would be next Tuesday's subcommittee discussion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Not at all. Any other announcements before we wrap for the week? Okay. That's it, I think. Good work, people. And, all I can say is that I think the deluge is going to hit later next week. So subcommittees, try and ramp up your work as fast as you can if it's possible.